Strap in, feel the hum in your hands. This is 4D. Heat on my palms, grip locked, heart racing. Shoes hit the pedal, whole room shaking. Jersey on my back, hair pulled low and blazing. Every turn I take, got the ghosts I'm chasing. 4D in my veins, feel that fire when I play, when I move.
Good evening, race fans. Welcome to CRN's live coverage of round number 4 for the CSRL GT Series. And we are here in Portugal as we are at the Algarve International Circuit. It's 2.9 mile circuit. To me, if I have to think about, how tracks are designed, to me, I look at this one and I look at, somebody in Portugal thinking, what would look good here? A nice tri-oval here in the mountains. And, if you go reverse on the track map and you start going backwards towards turn 15, it looks like it's a nice little sweeping curve for the tri-oval. And all of a sudden, their kid comes in the room for the 5th time of the day, bugging them, and he just grips the pencil hard and just starts scribbling all over the page. That's what the circuit looks like now. As it's now a road course, or what maybe could have been a tri-oval here in Portugal, but it's a road course here, and it's definitely not the easiest one. There's a lot of undulation. You see some of the hills that these drivers are going up and down around over. It can get very tricky, and especially turn number 1. Certainly keep an eye on turn number 1. We'll just put it that way. But Carl Hammer joined the booth by Jimmy Cover. Jimmy, what do you think about Algarve out here?
Well, at first, when I got on this track a couple years ago, I hated it, and then it rained, and I thought I really hated it. But I found my way driving the LMP2 here, and became pretty quick at it. So I went out there, I was running some laps with the Aston Martin here tonight, chose that car. I don't know why, I just did. Pushing like a dump truck. So you can see out here tonight when you see the cars go by, not an Aston Martin in sight. Now I probably know why. So I would have failed that part of the race, or the car selection. But it's a lot of fun out here, Carl. I mean, obviously a lot of technical areas, and some of the braking zones are unique. Obviously, you got a couple hairpins. There are ones where you got to brake like at the bottom of the hill and then turn and go back uphill. There's altitude changes. There's blind corners. You got to know the track. You got to know how your car handles. You got to know if you have the width of your car, so you can maximize these hairpin turns, so you can get great exits. Get good entries. Don't overdrive the entry, but you want to get that good exit, because they get these speeds, especially down the areas where you can get into 6th gear and hopefully make a pass on whoever's there. But there's going to be a lot of tight racing here. This is a very driver technical track with everything that comes on, especially handling, as you can see on the track map, and you can count them: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hairpins. So definitely a tough, difficult track here tonight, and it will just definitely test these drivers to see how well they do. But they're turning some pretty good laps, they're pretty consistent throughout the field. You could probably tell some of the people that haven't been here very often is they're probably down in like the 144s, 145s, but right average, I think, race speed, you're gonna see a lot of the fast guys in the 141s. And you're going to see like your mid-pack battlefield, probably in the 42s and 43s, and then somebody probably struggling back there in the 44s, 45s. But it's going to be a good race, and I'm looking forward to seeing these 34 drivers here tonight, at least on the listing, to see if they all take the track.
Yeah, and you mentioned cars, certainly no Astons out there, but surprising car at the top of the boards, that is the Corvette. The Corvette right now making up 5 of the top 6 spots and 6 of the top 10 right now. A lot of Corvettes out there, plenty of Porsches out there as usual, but Corvette definitely seems to be a top driver favorite here tonight, as they're going to make up a lot of the top spots. Taking a look at those top drivers here for the season. On top of the boards, come on, is Greg Jancic by 5 points over Noah Bourgeois, and then another 21 points back to Mason Smith in 3rd out here in the field tonight. Bryce Reiner, Jason Phillips making up your top 5. In the gold, it's Steve McLean leading by, we got the the 0.5 in there, so 16.5 over Christian Ortiz Torres. Frank Pisano, Herbert Pineda, Jim Dutton for your top 5 in the gold. In the silver, it is Jim Herrick by 4 points over John Espada, as both of them have been having some pretty good seasons, but keep an eye out for Ian Southern, getting another win last week in the silver class. He's now only 8 points behind the leader than Ian Wilson, Stefan Price for your top 5. Ricky Renner was in the rookie class, but he has graduated out. He is now going to be battling with the top boys in the platinum class, and he's going to be slotted in. It looks like 6th place in the points as it shakes out. But these drivers finishing up with their qualifying, and we got some of the typical names that we see at the top of the board here, and it looks like now it finally is clicking over here. We're done with qualifying. So Jimmy, why don't you give us a rundown of tonight's starting order?
Yeah, tonight's starting order of the 34 drivers. It's going to be your close competitor in the second place in the points. Noah Bourgeois taking the pole here tonight, getting himself another bonus point. And then you got Bryce Reiner on the outside. Second row, no surprise here. Mason Smith and Craig Jancic occupy that. Kyle Kobler and Christopher Hamilton back in row number 3. Ricky Renner and Alex Zart in row number 4. Javier Sierra and Herbert Pineda in row number 5. Jason Phillips and Rich Pachuco back there in row number 6. Michael Schwartz and Frank Pisano in row number 7. Christian Ortiz Torres and Cesar Colon Torres back there in row number 8. Row number 9, Dave Tilford and Devin Young. And then back to the rest of the field here, the rest of the pack. You have in 19th, you got Christopher Reagan. 20th, Tyler Torville. Alain Below back there in 21st, Glenn Lozon in 22nd, Ian Southern back in 23rd, Bill Burrell in 24th, John Espada in 25th, Jason Potts in 26th, then Renato Dilemma in 27th, Ian Wilson back there in P number 28. P29 is going to be Jay Little, Matt Lemke back there in P number 30, Stefan Price back in 31st. Yeah, Paul Bailey in 32nd. Jim Dutton's going to be starting in the back of the pack here, not getting a time in here tonight, so maybe not comfortable, maybe just busy prior to the race. It happens as the league owner. And then Daniel Pinkston starting towards the back as well, as he's getting his feet wet here and some road racing.
Yeah, you mentioned this is kind of a driver's track, and one that you're going to be looking at the top drivers, fanning out and doing well, and it speaks volumes that the top 8 are all platinum drivers. A lot of times we see 1 or 2 golds kind of mixed in there, maybe a rookie mixed in there as well, but all the top 8 right now are platinum drivers, and only 4 of the platinum drivers, 4 of the other platinum drivers I should say, are not mixed up with them, and that being Jason Phillips, they're starting in 11th. Christian or Cesar Colon Torres starting in 16th, and Tyler Torville starting back there in 20th, along with Dave Tilford there in 17th. So a few of them maybe a little off pace to start with. Again, it's a tricky technical track. I know it looks like a lot of straightaways, a lot of just hairpins, and then you're out, but it's a track that one exit sets up the next for sure. And like you mentioned, Jimmy, you need to focus on those exits. I know I say that a lot when it comes to road courses. You're not really focused on your speed through the corner. You're focused on making the most speed on the straightaways. And there's plenty of straightaways here. There's plenty of fast sections that you really need to focus on those exits. I mean, you look at the turn 1, 2, 3, 4 complex there, and there's not many straightaways in between them, but then you come out of turn number 4. That's where you have that nice little straightaway that they're on right now. You need to focus on the exit of turn number 4. And I'm not saying, give everything up in 1, 2, and 3, but you're so focused through that complex should be turn number 4. And then same thing, when you're coming down through here, you got a couple little kinks, and then you got the hairpin. You need to focus on the exit of the hairpin because you get a nice little run. Again, you need to focus on putting all the speed down when you can, not necessarily trying to overdrive those corners.
Yeah, you can quickly overdrive the corner. You can quickly drive off the track. There is plenty of kitty litter around here. Hopefully, it's enough to slow them down and not get on the wall. But it is a very difficult track. It's going to be a difficult track to pass. It's going to be a difficult track to race. So if you're not comfortable with the track, obviously maintain pace and hold your line. When faster car comes, don't have to be obnoxious and like drive way out of your way, but be predictable. Let the faster car go by, and then continue your race, and finish much better. I know these front drivers are so competitive. Turn number one, lap number one is going to be intense, considering they get broken free about midway up the straightaway on the front stretch, and they're going to race down to one of the a pretty sharp right-hand corner, and it's really not made to go too wide. So you're gonna find some people. There's a big curb in there. It'll launch you. It's kind of nasty. You're gonna go for a ride. So I am curious to see how patient some of these drivers are coming through here, and I know a lot of drivers maybe not up in the fray and want to be patient, but can they hold their own? Can they get in there? Can they whittle their way through the field, if something happens, because it does go awry pretty quickly. So obviously we know these drivers are going to start off on 50% fuel. They can't make it the whole way. They have to stop, but if something happens on lap number one, they can get in the pits. They can get enough fuel. They can take the faster pair. They can make it the rest of the way. So there's there's that. So I'm hoping for a great start here between the drivers for up front, Noah Bourgeois and Bryce Reiner, and obviously Mason Smith and Craig Jancic back there in row number two. I have a strong feeling that Bryce are going to be counting down maybe to Craig, so they can get a team good start there on the outside. But it is a tough place to be. We're going to see how it all goes, but it's a now green as they go. As you can see, already fanning out, trying to find their lane, trying to get out, from somebody directly in front of them. But here they go in turn number one.
Good start there for him, Bourgeois. He's going to lead him through turn number one. Jancic unable to even clear Mason Smith, so it's going to be Bourgeois, Reiner, Smith, and Jancic as they go through the first little complex here. Going to stay real tight to the right there to set up again the exit and the run through turn number four, up and over the edge. Looks like Glenn Lazan, Wayne Burrell, Ren Dilemma do not survive the first lap here, at least from spinning out, but a good start here from the front of the field as they head now down into the what I consider kind of one of the first hairpins. I know the hairpin there in turn number three, but you're kind of already slowed down. This one here, you're a little bit more speed. And then, I mean, it's just, you see a big car sliding off there. It's Alex Zart, I believe, or no, Kyle Kobler actually sliding off. And now Ricky Renner, I believe, gets tangled up in that one as well. So we're going to have plenty to go back and look at after we complete lap number one here. But
we're still spinning.
Yeah, we're not even done. We're only about 2/3 of the way through this lap, but you see just how much up and down. And Jimmy, I know these cars have a lot of downforce, but so many up and down, so many undulations as we get another spin right there. Looks like Petrucco getting taken out. They don't like going up and down too often.
Not on cold tires. The weight transfer is insane, and it really does throw the car off pretty quickly. As you can see, we can see our boards are kind of lighting up with incident here, incident there, a crash, and not necessarily a crash, probably more of a spin. They got to wait for traffic to go by, so losing a lot of times, a lot of positions. Already a lot of drivers shuffling around. One person kind of waking her way through the car. Kind of surprising, from 18 to 10 or 8th is Devin Young.
Yeah, certainly a good start for Devin Young. We'll take a look back and show you what kind of incidents happen on the start of this thing, as there's plenty to kind of weed through here. But I mean, a good start from the field, heading off into turn number one, and then you got an incident here from Glenn Lazan. I'm not sure if he got together with Bill Burrell here, as you see 3 wide, and then sure that was sticking their nose in there. We see Bill Burrell getting caught up in that one. Brennan Dilemma goes through the kitty litter there, but didn't look like too much damage on any of the cars. Robert Pineda a little bit later in the lap.
Yeah, Devin Young's actually got some pretty unique front end damage. It looks like he's got a pointy nose there on that Porsche, so must have gotten the rear end of somebody going around. So doesn't seem to be affecting his car too much. You don't get the top out very often. You get them a couple of nice straightaways, but yeah, a little bit of damage.
There's what we've seen with Kyle Kobler sliding off the track, and right there behind him, Ricky Renner goes sliding off and takes off the rear spoiler as well, so that thing is going to have to get brought back into the pits. As we're slowly catching up here, Jay Little, same spot here, just gets a little bit loose. Again, kind of coming down through that complex. It's third car in that exact same place, and then spins it right around on the nose of I believe it was a 511 there of Matt Lemke. But we'll get you back live now. Actually, we'll take a look at one more here. Looks like Chris Reagan having a bit of an issue here as well. See all that dirt and grime through the corner, and I think maybe that's what both those cars drove onto right there. Great job, great save, great avoidance from a lot of those drivers. But now we'll get you back live and show you what's going on. And it is Noah Bourgeois at the front of this field, Bryce Reiner, Mason Smith, Frank Jancic, Chris Hamilton for your top 5. Then you got Alex Zart, Cesar Colon Torres, Devin Young now up to 8th as mentioned, Herbert Pineda, Javi Sierra for your top 10.
Yeah, you can always see some of the drivers obviously dealing with what probably some of the drivers hate the most. The first opening laps on them cold tires, and the car just as much downforce as there has when those tires are cold. There's no grip. You try to turn and it goes straight. So like you're almost down, like almost a full gear sometimes in a corner that you'd go a lot faster for, and it makes me really timid for sure. I'm not comfortable on cold tires. I've had my fair share of spinning these type of cars out on the track, and it's not something that's fun. You can lose a ton of time, and I'd rather you lose a half a second trying to warm them up, or even 2 seconds from trying to warm them up in the beginning of a race, and then spitting out and then losing 10 to 15. So you got to fight your battles and drive what you can with each car. But
battling on the front stretch, and Devin Young is going to get into the wall. Oh. Actually, that wasn't Devin Young. Who was that? Was that? Let me go back here. Javi Sierra, I believe. We'll take a look back and try and see that here. Yep, already happening right there.
Well, Devin Young didn't get in the wall, though.
There we go. As Javi Sierra, they came together. Not sure if Javi Sierra came across the 15 or if it was just some tight racing there. But Sierra gets sent into the inside wall there on the front stretch, and Devin Young going to get shuffled now back to 11th position. Looks like Herbert Pineda had a bit of an issue there as well right when we come back live. And again, the hairpin here claiming another victim, but looks like just boosting up the throttle a little bit. Wanting to get up there and battle for some positions, and unfortunately he's going to lose about 8 positions trying to get up there and battle for one of them.
Yeah, we've seen it early on here, obviously very early in the race. Still plenty of time remaining here at this track, and the drivers are right now settling down, and I think the major excitement's now kind of subsided, but now it's going to be the battles that we find throughout the field. Obviously, everybody kind of spread out in front, just kind of nose to tail, kind of typical, top of the leaderboard type of racing here. Just waiting for each other to kind of make a mistake and be able to capitalize on that. But the thing is about the top few, Carl, is they don't make mistakes very often, so you can't let them get too far away. Obviously, you want to run your race, everybody trying to maybe save a little fuel, managing tires, but they want to get a great run. But Noah Bourgeois out front right now, and Bryce Reiner, Mason Smith, Craig Jancic sitting in P1
Yeah, all in all, I think it's a pretty good start from these drivers. I think that the track, cold tires are both were biting at these drivers' heels for sure on those first few laps, and again the undulations. I mean, you see it on the screen here how much they're going up and down, but in the car, it's a lot more aggressive than what you're seeing on the screen here, and you really feel all those ups and downs in the car and how much those tires are gaining grip or losing grip, whether you're coming, up and over a hill or down through a little, dip, here maybe getting a little bit more grip than some other corners because you're kind of compressed down into the track a little bit more. But it's not easy. It's not exactly an easy track here, and it's a newer track as well. I mean, only built back in 2008. And right from the beginning, they had their eyes on some of the big prizes, hosting Formula One races, MotoGP races, things like that. And surprisingly, looking at the cost and everything, once they had decided to move forward with it, it took them only 7 months to build the track and all the ancillary buildings, and at a cost of 195 million euro, which I'll let everybody else do the calculations, but I know it's not that much for a track that's going to host, or that has hosted Formula One races, MotoGP races. It's hosted FIA GT races. Pretty much, all the big boys have come to Portimao at one point or another. So the fact that this is that new of a track and jumping right into the frying pan and hosting all the big events here, and of course a big event right here with CSRL and round number 4.
Yeah, round number 4 here with CSRL, and obviously points race already close as it is. Obviously Noah's trying to get out there and get a lead right now over Craig Jancic, but not that far out in front of the number 97. We know 97 has always had great pit stops, but it only has about 4 seconds over the field right at the moment, at least to Craig Jancic. Bryce Reiner now sitting right behind Noah Bourgeois. He's about 2 seconds back, so Mason Smith is stuck in between Craig and Bryce, as we've seen plenty of times in the past, as that number 6 gets around here tonight. Him riding, a different car from the leaders in the top 3. So the first Acura and the only Acura on the track. Another rare car out there.
Stefan Price is in one as well, back there in 26th. Yeah, because I was thinking the same thing. Yep.
Oh. Well, so obviously a different choice of car. Some people are just more comfortable, even though if it drives a little, it's not the fastest car, but to them, maybe it's just the most comfortable. And a track like this, if you're not comfortable hopping in any car, and you want to stick with a car that how it handles what it does. If I was going to race here, I would be thinking the same thing a lot of these other drivers thinking: Vette, Porsche. Maybe the Lamborghini, some of the mid cars, the Ferrari that we hardly see anymore. The McLaren got a couple out there. So a lot of those cars that like to rotate in the middle of the corner because of the hairpins. That's why I would choose one of those cars. But the front engine cars obviously do very, very well going down the straight. As a matter of fact, when I was out there ghost racing on the track where these drivers were practicing, I'd come out of the last final turns in the Aston Martin, and she'd get up and go. It definitely would. I'd catch people down. I don't have a drafter, and so I was catching people down the straightaway, and obviously overdriving turn 1 because I want to make a pass. I'm not gonna hurt nobody. I can drive through them. So I try to make something stick, and that's when I kind of quickly found out that the Aston Martin is very front heavy, so she likes to push. So I don't know if I'd be able to race that car consistently without getting some serious practice in it. But right now we're doing great here. We are a few minutes in. We got about 11, 12 minutes in now, and Noah Bourgeois is your leader over Bryce Reiner, Mason Smith, Craig Jancic in 4th, Christopher Hamilton in 5th, Alex Zart in 6th, Tyler Tourville, one of the biggest movers of the race right now, and P number 7, Cesar Colon Torres back in 8th, Frank Pisano in 9th, and Devin Young round out your top 10.
Right now, keep an eye on this second and third battle. It seems like Reiner struggling a little bit, kind of midway through this run on fuel. Not sure if it's the car getting lighter or just kind of using up those rear tires. We're really just trying to hang on right now to second place and keep Mason Smith behind him, who's running kind of right up his behind for quite some time. But at the front, I don't know, Jimmy. I mean, he's gotten through lap 1, so do we call the race win for Noah Bourgeois at this point? Because it seems like if he can get through lap 1, he's good to go. And right now, check it out, 2.7 seconds ahead, just ran the fastest lap of the race, 141.09, so almost in the 140 bracket already. So good job out there for the 24, looking to try and reel in and maybe take the lead in the point standings, as Craig Jancic still stuck back there in 4th. Hamilton right behind him in 5th place, but the front 10 kind of spread out quite a bit, other than the battle between 2nd and 3rd. Here we'll look back here at the battle between Devin Young, Jason Phillips, Michael Schwartz, kind of a good little gaggle here at the back of the top 10.
Yeah, it's the beginning of the middle, beginning of the middle pack of the battlefield. There's a lot of drivers right in this area here. They're pretty much on the same page. Now, Devin Young has a little bit of damage on that Porsche in the front. It definitely looks off, and he's probably, that's where he's losing his time, is down the straightaway. Can't max out his top speed, and won't see that correction until he comes in the pit. I don't know if he has a spotter call, but I would even be thinking about maybe bringing, once I know it's good to go fuel, maybe come in, get yourself, an early pit stop. You take that fuel and come back out here and finish the race and get it out of the way, and you wouldn't have to battle this traffic. You get your repairs done, you can run better laps, and you're definitely have a chance to finish farther than what you're at now. And he's in a decent spot right now. He's just outside the top 10 in P12, and obviously higher than he started, but it wouldn't be a bad idea for that car to come in and change up the pit strategy, but still make it to the end, and maybe racing a little bit of clean air.
Yeah, I think he's just fast enough through the infield here, through all these tricky parts, that he's hanging in there, and I think it's giving him hope that, I'm going to stay out here. I don't want to go off strategy, because you would get in there, you get that damage repaired, but you're also going to be a lot heavier than everybody else, because you're going to have to take more fuel. And as well as I do that these cars are fantastic on light fuel. The lighter these things get, the faster they go, and you pack that thing full of fuel. Yeah, you may be better off damage-wise and aero-wise on the straightaways, but you could be hurting yourself all through that infield as well, and that car not wanting to shift around as much. So it's kind of a give and take, and maybe he's just kind of right in the middle of that bubble, and maybe now taking your advice. He does bring the 15 into the pits for that early pit stop, but it looks like a black flag. Not sure if he got the black flag before he came in, if he's having to serve a penalty right now, or if he got that just on entry. But black flag for the 15. What was a good start to the race, not so much anymore. Take a look at our two biggest movers of the race. As mentioned earlier, Tyler Torville starting in 20th. One of the, actually the lowest starting platinum class driver. He's now got the thing up into the top 10, up into 7th right now, up 13 spots. So really good start here for the 22. And then the other big mover, Jim Dutton, did not put in a qualifying time, so not sure if he is eligible for the Chris Burrell Hard Charger Sandbagger Award if he doesn't put in a time. But he's up 15 spots right now into 18th.
I mean, sandbagging. I mean, we get the race with Jim on Sundays, and always a good competitor. So, like I said, he's the league owner, and obviously could have been busy, or maybe just it's sometimes hard to get a clean lap in. They do open qualifying, Carl, and open qualifying drives me nuts.
I know it does.
It's absolutely bat crazy, because you're out there trying to get a lap in, and you got a slower car on the way, or you got teammates maybe like getting out in front of each other just a little bit, enough to give them that a little bit extra draft to maybe put them in the right spot. So there's all kinds of strategies that kind of go in. Maybe go out there and run hard for 10 minutes and leave yourself, or whatever, say half the time of that you got for qualifying, burn down that fuel, and then come in and take new tires, warm them up, and then do a ripper lap, man. And so there's all kinds of different strategies that I've seen happen on a track from open qualifying. So not so much the team thing, but that was the one that always, get somebody to kind of start up there, because you can see how the beginning of the races go. Not necessarily mean you needed to start up front, but you see that obviously the top 5, 6 are still, they're doing well, they're up there, and then you got some of the survivors that have had big movers. You got Jim Dutton and Tyler Torville, Frank Posada had a few spots, Cesar Torres with some great spots, and that's awesome. So I mean, they're just able to survive and avoid that stuff. But you know, obviously it stinks for some of the other drivers that had to fall back here early on. Ricky Renner, Ian Wilson that we were talking about earlier, Kyle Kobler has had some great runs. So we won't. I mean, we see them obviously on the track, but it's, you know, they have a lot of work to do, and it feels like a lot of work to do, but they don't have to come in again. That's where they're going to gain all their time, you know. But like Carl said, you know, the car's a little bit heavier, so they're usually typically a little bit slower, not necessarily like a big gap slower, just a little bit, as in they're lugging all that fuel around.
Yeah, it's not necessarily that they're slower in regards to weight like that down the straightaways. You're not really slower mile per hour wise on the long straightaways. It's more, you know, each corner it's a little bit heavier and a little bit harder to get into the corners, rotate through the corners. So it may be, you know, a 10th this corner, a 10th the next corner, as that's not the way I think Paul Bailey envisioned taking that corner, but getting well out the way of William Burrell there. But yeah, just a little bit heavier in each of the corners, and he may lose 10th here, 10th there, and at the end of the lap, it adds up, and that's why you see those lap times drop off more and more and more as the time and the fuel burns off later in these runs. But Norbert Bourgeois not having any kind of issues out front. He's kind of steadied it right now at about 2 3/4 second lead. To see it right there. Mason Smith, I think he's had plenty of opportunities to get around Bryce Reiner. I don't think he wants to, so I'm not sure if he's just kind of hanging back there, saving some fuel, playing the long game here. I haven't seen much from Craig Jancic. He's another 2.7 seconds back from Mason Smith, and it's not often that we see Jancic just kind of this dormant. You know, I'm sure he's back there driving slowly, trying to save fuel, but normally he's behind someone trying to let them, you know, push the air around for him as well. But maybe just not feeling it out here tonight at Algarve. Chris Hamilton, another 4.3 seconds behind Craig Jancic, rounding out your top 5. BMW out there, and I know he's going to be one of my teammates. It looks like myself, Chris, and Dave may be tackling the next endurance event, the 12 hours of Bathurst, and maybe already keying in to the BMW, because he did mention running the BMW there. It's certainly a car that he enjoyed and the team enjoyed for quite some time, and it's been off the radar for a little bit, but he's out there in the BMW here tonight, as well as John Espada, because that's what he does. He just runs a BMW. He did dabble in a few other cars, but Espada back out there in the BMW, and what do you know, he's top of the boards here in the silver class.
Yeah, doing, you know, obviously when you drive these cars, there's so many of them, so you're like, oh, that's kind of a cool looking car, and you find a nice paint scheme, or maybe you make your own nice paint scheme, and you're like, I'm gonna drive this thing, and then you get it out on the track, you're like, this thing sucks, and there's, you know, and then you just kind of wave away from it, and then iRacing will make some changes, you know, whether it's a power adjustment, a tire adjustment, a height adjustment, whatever they do, trying to get these things as close to real as possible. Obviously, it's a simulation, and you know, you're trying to mimic real life and get these cars to act the way they typically would. Now, we've seen stuff here on iRacing where cars have, you know, landed on their hood, or another car, you know, blink out, and jump and skip and hop and all kinds of things. You know, hit the fence just slightly and go like flying in the air like 100 feet. It's quite amazing. There's some of the things you can see out there for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's I mean, like you said, there's not every car is for everybody out there. I mean, there's some you get, there's some you look at and like, damn, that's a good looking car, drives like crap. There's some that, you know, man, this sounds great, I love the sound of this car, doesn't have any kind of speed. Then you get in some where I love the speed, can't handle the corners, worth crap. So I mean, you really have to find out what works best for you. And sometimes, yeah, I know here in CSRL, they're locked into 2 cars. They have to pick 2 cars for the season, and that's it. You know, I know the Core GT series, they can choose whatever car they want at every track, and sometimes, you know, if you want to be fast, that's what you got to do. I mean, you look at what we had at Daytona, which, you know, turned out to be the Porsche Cup series. At Daytona, Porsche was by far the meta car there at Daytona, that regardless if you liked it or not, you almost kind of forced to run it.
Yeah, sometimes you get a car, it just handles too well, and it sticks to the road the way it's supposed to, and you don't want it to be a car that you want to like, or you don't even want to drive, but just because of how well it's doing, the love it's got, and the great adjustments that iRacing has made to it, you're out there and you give it a shot. I own all the GT3 cars. That's just a given. I love driving those cars when I get a chance to, mainly for the endurance of it, and obviously you get to do 24 hours with Daytona. So, but that's where a lot of it kind of lays down. My nights are pretty occupied, and the few ones that I do get off, I really kind of just step away from the racing here just a little bit, and spend time with family, build a Lego. There's all kinds of things to do.
Oh, we did miss this right here. You see it right there on the screen. Mason Smith finally did make the move here on Bryce Reiner. Did it in turn number 3, dove to the inside here. And finally maybe got tired of sitting behind Reiner, decided to put that Acura out front and maybe see what it can do, see if he can run down Bourgeois a little bit, because Bourgeois now out to a 3.8 second lead as we get you back live. And you see now Reiner trying to latch onto the back of Smith, maybe get towed around here for a little bit. Pit stops starting to pick up a little bit, should see him really start picking up this lap and next lap, as you see Renault Dilemma. Jason Potts now coming into the pits. Looks like Dilemma had a black flag as well. Our drivers having some issues coming into pit road. I know those yellow cones come up pretty quick.
Yeah, you come off that hill and it's a great. Well, no, you're down the hill and you're doing as much speed as you can, and then you take this entry and up, it's up a small hill. So the kind of the hill up into the pit lane really does throw your perception off, and then you try to push it just a little bit farther, and sometimes you get in there too hot. Matter of fact, the one race, it was a pinnacle part of me winning the little off season that we had over at Core in the LMP2, was me and one of the, I forget his name now, we're driving, and we came into the pits the same time because we both got black flags for getting too many X's. And we ended up drag racing side by side down in the pits, but we got to the pit exit, and he decides, instead of just keep going side by side to the end, he left early and ends up getting a black flag. So pretty much threw away this awesome epic battle that we were going back and forth, and you can see it if Carl catches them going in.
Yep.
We've got more drivers coming in the pits here, but yeah, it was a pretty awesome race. And like I said, you just either like this track or you hate this track, and this one here is not on my hate list. I definitely don't mind driving it, and matter of fact, it was a one-off. I did a 24-hour event here, Carl, in the GT3.
I wonder, how this track would be with a, with a multi-class series, with the GTPs, the LMP2s out there as well. I can imagine it would be busy. What might be a good word for it, but I would think those those prototype cars would handle pretty well through these up and downs, and really stick to the tracks and rotate through the corners pretty well to put on a good race out there. But man, Norbert Bourgeois, not looking back right now, he is consistently putting in about a half a second faster than everyone else on the track, as he goes 141.19 that last time by. Mason Smith with a 141.65. So take a look at the recent lap times here, as Bryce Reiner now ducking into the pits, but you see a lot of red and a lot of big chunks of red there for the number 6 here in that second place. But now he's let free as he is away from Bryce Reiner. We'll see if Reiner can make the undercut work here to get himself back into second place, as Alex Dart, Tyler Torville also join him in pit lane. Craig Jancic, Chris Hamilton stay out, so it's Bourgeois and Smith, Jancic and Hamilton. Currently your top 4. Frank Pisano is going to stay out as well. He's going to move himself now currently up into 5th place. He's your top running gold class driver, but pit road getting pretty busy here. We're past the halfway point now, getting closer to 30 minutes into this race. Still need to see quite a few drivers though come in. Right now your top 8 drivers have yet to come in. We also need to see William Burrell, Paul Bailey come into the pits as well. But just another great performance. Currently Premier leader of Bourgeois. I know we're not showing him too much on the track. That's because not too many people are seeing him out there, other than the cars that he's going around lapping right now, because he is really starting to check out here and really feeling in a groove.
Yeah, I mean, it's another technical track. Noah just kind of latches onto that. He has this knack to kind of be very quick and be able to know how to handle the car. If you ride on board with him, Carl, you can see even how smooth he kind of makes it. Yeah, it makes it look so smooth. You know, and it kind of give you an idea, like, you know, how you're supposed to be managing throttle, how long he's actually off, watching the car rotate. I'm sure he's trail braking or gets all his braking done before the corner, so he has maximum rotation. With the Vette being a mid-engine car, it does tend to turn pretty well too. So yeah, it's a great job that Noah's doing here as we just run by I think we're right around the 30-minute mark now.
Yeah, right about 29 and a quarter into the race here as Bourgeois now leads them into pit lane, and looks like everyone else going to be coming in behind them, completing their pit stops here. Trinity's Torres looks like he is. Yep, he is going to come in as well. So yeah, your top 8 going to come in, and now out of the pits, and a great pit stop from Mason Smith. He's able to gain a bunch of time there on Nora Bourgeois, as it's now down to less than 2 seconds, but now a lap car in between Bourgeois and Mason Smith, as we're in a dilemma right there in between them. I'm sure Bourgeois will end up clearing him easily and pulling away. Bryce Reiner slots into 3rd, Chris Hamilton into 4th, Jancic back to 5th. It's not often we see Jancic struggle in the pits, but that's exactly what we've seen. A very long pit stop here for Jancic, as maybe some tires on that 97, because he was 8 seconds slower than everybody else around him.
You know, trying to stop the bleeding here tonight, I'm sure, for the number 97 as he slides back in the P number 5, kind of try to, you know, you can win championships on your worst night, and I mean, if a P number 5 is your worst night, so you got other things to really kind of worry about. But you know, Craig always a force to be continuing to watch. It's still early on here, but like you said, past that halfway mark now, with only about 15 minutes remaining, so these drivers will make it to the rest of the way. Your biggest mover of the race right now is tied between Tyler Torville up in P6 and P number 20 for Jim Dutton.
I want to thank everyone out there for tuning in tonight. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe. Get you in touch with everything that CSRL has to offer, as we have the Wednesday doubleheader. We got CSRL right now, and then we have the Pit Road Speed Limit Racing later on tonight once this one concludes. And we have VVR on Thursday night, and we'll have the running of 191 Motorsports. Their Sunday race got postponed to Friday, so we'll have their Daytona race that was supposed to be done this past Sunday, and then on Sunday we'll have their next race as well. So 2 nights out of 3 you'll see 191 here. So me and Jimmy only getting Saturday off this week from the running, but it's fun. It's still fun for me. It's fun getting out here and watching these drivers. I think once it starts feeling like a job, you know, we'll maybe have to pull back a little bit, maybe get ourselves back in the car a little bit, until that, you know, that frustration builds back up again, then we'll just get right back in the booth, something like that. But either way, it's been fun while it's lasting here, and I want to thank our sponsors here for the series. Ace Motorsports for sponsoring the pole sitters here. Digital Sim Sports sponsoring the Clean Driver Award for the season. We thank Martin PC, 40 Racewear, and also my brain farting on. Yeah, can't think of who the. I know there's one more. There's one more out there. I know there is. So I will remember. But definitely a thank you to all the sponsors out there that make it go here. And so, oh well, there we go. Chris Brell, Heart Charger over here, as usual. So thank you to Chris out there for sponsoring that, and gives us a little laugh, a little chuckle, and you know, a little shot at these sandbaggers out there every week. But either way, good running right now. 33 minutes into this thing, so getting to the back portion of this race, and it looks like it's in control by Noah Bourgeois at the front, 2.2 seconds in the lead. Then you got Mason Smith, he's 2 seconds clear of Bryce Reiner. Another 2 seconds from Bryce Reiner back to Chris Hamilton. Another 8 seconds from Reiner back to Hamilton. And then another 5 seconds back to Craig Jancic. And then another 4.5 back to Alex Zart. So you're seeing, you know, that top 10 right now really spread out until you get to the back half right here. Battle between Frank Pisano and Jason Phillips, as well as Cesar Clone Torres and Ricky Renner back up here and battling. So weathering the storm from that early spin. He's got the spoiler back on the number 53 and battling for a top 10 at the end of this thing.
Yeah, things are definitely winding down here tonight, and yeah, the battlefield is on fire here as they continue to battle. I'm just kind of where I've been focused here for the past like 5-10 minutes, and they're still nose to tail, Carl. And one little slip up, you know, from anybody kind of leading this pack could take, you know, quite a few of them out, but all kind of hanging in there, running some decent laps. You know, this is a part of the track. If we're nowhere where to catch up, it would take a little while to kind of get by. You know, unless they all decide to kind of just get out of his way. But these drivers are running hard here tonight. Like we said, it's a difficult track. 45 minutes is a good time to be here, but it is a very challenging time, as you can see the different obstacles they have, aka turns for here.
The other thing that tonight is going to do, once it completes, is it's going to put us halfway through the season. Right? Only an 8-race season for season 15, as we're going to go from here to Australia to the Bend, then over to Italy for Monza, back to the States for VIR, and then back to Germany for the Nürburgring GP circuit, not the big bad boy at the Nordschleife. It's just going to be the GP circuit, but 2-hour season finale there for round number 8 on February 25th to conclude season number 15, and then they'll gear up, get ready for season 16. I'm sure not too long after that, get a fresh new schedule out there. We'll see how many races are going to be on that one, but this one's been a pretty good schedule, and you know, a lot of fresh tracks out there. I mean, you look at even the tracks we've been to already with Imola, Adelaide, certainly the brand new track on the schedule. I know last week we were at Daytona, the one where I'm sure drivers are probably worn out from Daytona after last week, after doing a 24-hour, and if some of them were in the Core GTers doing it there as well. It's been a lot of Daytona week for sure, but here at Algarve, anything but. It's nothing like Daytona here, and pretty much, I mean, it's still a road course, but other than that, and other than the fact that it's got a long front stretch, that's about the only similarities.
Yeah, there's plenty of turning left and right on this thing, and obviously it tests your patience. And like I said, it is really kind of cool, obviously, with the altitude changes, you know, because you'll go to places like here where you're going up and down the hill, and that takes into account on how that car handles, how that the weight transfer affects that car. You know, then you'll go to somewhere like Sebring, flat it's going to be. Yeah,
I mean, it literally is an airstrip. They took the airstrip and put a track on it. So it's flat, but it's not bumpy. it is a bumpy, rough track there at Sebring, and you definitely need to be ready for it, especially through Sunset there. But here tonight, it's just a lot of hills and a lot of climbs and a lot of ups and downs and dips and hairpins and a little bit of everything here at Algarve. Noah Bourgeois, Mason Smith, Bryce Reiner, Chris Hamilton, Craig Jancic for your top 5. Then you got Zart, Torville, Phillips, Renner, and Cologne Torres for your top 10. Greg Bassano leading in the gold class right now, not by much. It is very tight here at the top of the gold class, as Greg Bassano only a half a second ahead of Herbert Pineda as they battle here to the end. You see Bassano right there in the green and black Lamborghini, and then right behind him you got the green and black Porsche 99 of Herbert Pineda. That's first and second in the gold class. And then you take a look back here at the silver class, and it's very close as well. Excuse me, John Espada currently in first place in the 81 BMW, but right behind him in Southern, looking for another class win here in the Porsche, only a half a second behind.
And do these drivers that are battling positions have enough time to finish this thing out?
Seven minutes left in this race, so you're probably looking at about maybe 5 more laps to go here. Some close battling for the alternate divisions here, not the top dog platinum division, but starting to get a little closer at the front here. Mason Smith losing a little bit of time. Not sure if he's going to save a little bit of fuel here to the end or what the case is. He certainly had a very, very quick pit stop, but now Bryce Reiner, it was 2 seconds. It's down. Was under 1 second. It's back to 1.05 right now, but still very close for second place overall. Kind of jumping back and forth between these different classes and the battles. The closest one right now on the track is the battle for the top spot in the silver class, as Ian Southern still hanging behind John Espada right now.
Probably in the middle of a yawn. A long day at work today, and I'm trying to stay warm. And I know I live in Florida.
I don't want to hear it.
A little cool down here for my blood. As I accommodated myself down south here for the past 10 years. Yeah, the one on fire here tonight is Noah Bourgeois, so maybe I need to catch up to him and get what he's got going, because he's definitely got this track figured out to get things done here tonight, out to that almost 4-second lead over Mason Smith. And then Bryce Reiner obviously trying to challenge Mason here late in the race. Christopher Hamilton there in fourth, Craig Jancic, Alex Art, Tyler Tobille, one of your biggest movers here tonight at 13th spots. And then he's in P7. Jason Phillips at 8th. Ricky Renner's in 9th. Top 10, Cesar Colon Torres. Frank Pisano in 11th. 12th is Herbert Pineda. Michael Schwartz in 13th. Dave Tilford back there in 14th. Rich Pachuco back there in 15th. 16th is Javi Sierra. Kyle Kobler in 17th. So trying to drive back from that nasty wreck there in the beginning. Christian Ortiz Torres up down 4 spots. Jim Dutton trying to climb his way through the field from the back, making at least 13 spots up here tonight. Glenn Lazon's in 21st. 22nd John Spada. Ian Southern in 23rd. Christopher Reagan back there in 24th. 25th Devin Young. We've seen he was doing pretty decent in that Porsche and had some damage, just falling back a few spots, down 7 spots tonight. Jason Pottsbury in your first car lap down for the overall field with Bill Burrell, Randall Emma, Jay Little, Stefan Price, Matt Lemke, Paul Bailey, Ian Wilson, and good old Daniel Big Daddy Pinkston.
Fortunately, Pinkston not making the field here tonight, and maybe deciding to just stay out of the mix here in the mess, but it's been a pretty good race here overall. The top 10 being spread out as much as it is, and it looks like Bryce Reiner maybe had some issues. He's fallen back now 4 seconds behind Mason Smith. So the top 10 really spread out. It's something that we don't typically see here. A little close battle here. Back half of the top 10. Jason Phillips right now in 8th place. Ricky Renner in 9th. Again, Ricky trying to come back from that early spin. He lost the rear spoiler into the tire barrier, but not too far behind them is again the battle for top spot in the silver. Frank Pisano still holding on to it, stretching out the lead now a little bit. 1.3 seconds at Herbert Pineda, because Pineda has been dealing with Michael Schwartz, one of the rookies here in the series, and teammate to Ricky Renner has been a thorn in the side here for Herbert Pineda, and has actually pulled him back away from Frank Pisano. But battle for the lead in the silver class. They're side by side, a spot on the inside. Ian Southern poked ahead for a brief second, and now they're going to be maybe side by side out of the final corner down the front stretch. And Southern pulls up alongside, heading down now into turn number 1. Who's going to blink first? Espada gets in there, makes the corner, stays on the inside, but now he's going to open up the inside here through turns 2 and 3. Ian Southern to the inside. They make a little contact through turn number 3, and now through number 4. Southern is going to have the pass made, moves himself up into first place in the silver class. Looks like another black flag out there. A lane below picking up a black flag that he's probably going to have to drive through for that one. And it looks like Matt Lemke as well back in the 31st position. But good battle here. Ian Southern, again, looking to grab another win here in the silver class. Makes the pass here late, but I'm sure John Espada is not just going to roll over there. You see him try and get close there. We're going to lose time now out of the corner. Already over a second in between these two. Looking back up here at the top spot for the gold class. It's getting close as Herbert Pineda has now shaken free from Michael Schwartz. And now he sets his sights once again on Frank Pisano.
Yeah, maybe he saved a little bit here for the end as they got at least this lap. I think this might be a white flag.
Barney wasn't waving that time by, at least.
Oh, was he?
Yeah,
we're at 44 minutes. I'm surprised he didn't.
And taking a look here at Bourgeois, he should be seeing it this time by. I think it was close that time to get the white flag, but Bourgeois enjoying a 6-second lead out front. Yes. And going through the final corners here, and it should be seeing the white flag here. Looks like by about maybe 10 seconds missed getting the white flag on that last lap. But around the big sweeping right-hand corner onto the front stretch, we'll take a look, and there it is. There's the white flag on the right-hand side, and yeah, you see it right there. 13 seconds was the difference, and we'll see if that 13 seconds is going to pay off at all for Herbert Pineda as he's trying to get up there around Frank Pisano. Still 0.3 of a second separating them. Back in the silver class, Ian Southern still holding off John Espada, but only 0.6 of a second separating them. So good battles here for the class wins at the end. I mean, certainly you want to get the class win, but Jimmy, you want to come up here and talk to us as well. So there's a lot on the line here for these drivers.
Well, I want to get up here in the booth here at CSRL and finish well. And hopefully we grab you and pull you in here. We love driving or talking to any of the drivers that are able to come up here and visit. Yeah, the race here tonight's been great, fun to watch. I know Bourgeois, just taking off from the get-go. Great moves there by Tyler Torville and Jim Dutton to work their way through the field to get to their positions, with the most amount of spots. Yeah, a tough break for some of the others that finished towards the back. And you see some of them bounce back a little bit, but you just, again, it's always that thought of what could have been earlier on.
Battle here as Pisano goes to the inside of Cesar Colon Torres. It's not a battle for class position, but it's a battle for position overall. And that moves him up to 10th place right now. And you see Herbert Pineda trying to get in there as well because he's missing out his chance of getting the top spot in the gold. What a move there from Pisano into the hairpin to get around Colon Torres, and now puts a car in between himself and Pineda on this last lap. That could be a very, very pivotal move here. There's just a few corners left. And you see Pineda doing everything he can to try and get around. It's actually bringing Michael Schwartz back up into the mix here as well. Meanwhile, Pisano checking out here a little bit. Pineda tries to dive to the inside, but just not close enough. And we got a car spun sideways. Ricky Renner here spins it on the last lap, and the last couple corners going to drop way down in the running order here. But all the cars looks like they're going to work around him. Now going through the final corners here for Pisano. Keeps it close and tight to the inside. Pisano is going to be the top dog in the gold. Bourgeois did go on to win this race by 7.3 seconds over Mason Smith, Bryce Reiner, Chris Hamilton, Craig Jancic for your top 5, Alex Zart, Tyler Torville, Jason Phillips for your top 8. Frank Pisano wins the gold, finishing in 9th. Cesar Colon Torres in 10th. Michael Schwartz gets Herbert Pineda at the line by 0.01 seconds. And we'll take a look at that right here at the end, if I can find it.
That's crazy close.
Yeah, here's the battle through the final corners. You see them side by side there. Schwartz and the white, black, and yellow Corvette. And you see the 99 of Pineda on the outside. Gets a good run on that outside. Maybe gets a little bit of draft from the Porsche, but not enough at the line. Very close battle there. Schwartz gets 11th. Pineda has to settle for 12th. Ian Southern does get the win in the silver class as well, so we'll get to talk to him as well. But good finish there for the gold and the silver for sure. That was a fun watch, excuse me, at the end of this thing. But Jimmy, as we get these drivers ready for some interviews, kind of final thoughts on the race, and give us a final rundown of this order.
Yeah, I think tonight we've seen a great, showcase of how technical that this track can be. How it looked like fun. They were going for some passes, pushing the cars to the limit a little bit, and you can see what happens when you reach too far here at Algarve, and it sends you off into the kitty litter. So, like I said earlier, obviously some drivers capitalizing on being able to run decent here and get a great finish. Others paying the piper as they had to fall back to the field. Getting some pretty decent finishes though here early, obviously early on in the season. But Kyle Kobler lost 11 spots. Ricky Renner down 10. Javi Sierra down 5, and Herbert Pineda was only down 2. So just a little bit of shuffling around there in the middle of the pack. Some of the drivers missing, but they were able to pit early because they had to wait for the field to go by before they got on track, before they came in the pits. Hence where all the time come from. But another great one here from CSRL. Looking forward to hearing what the boys have to say.
One thing that the boys have to say, and you've seen so many drivers with black flags here tonight for too many incidents and having to take those drive-throughs. The Digital Sim Sports clean drivers for tonight. That's it. Zero. Zero drivers. Zero drivers had a clean race here tonight. No, that wasn't my mic cutting out. That was me not finding anybody. There were 0 drivers out there with a clean race here tonight. So it just goes to show you, Portugal was biting back here a little bit. Algarve was not being kind to these drivers, and definitely making them race for it for sure. But ended up being a real good one out here for a lot of these drivers, and you've seen the cream kind of rise towards the top. I mean, we started with the top 8 being platinum drivers. We finished with the top 8 being platinum drivers. A couple drivers shifting their way up into there. Jason Phillips, good drive there to get himself up into 8th. Tyler Torville, again, going to be your Chris Burrell Hard Charger Sandbagger Award winner. Started back there in 20th, the last place platinum driver, works his way up there to finish at least 7th out of the 12. So great drive up there. Unfortunately, Ricky Renner is going to finish last out of all those after he just moves into the platinum division, but spun it on the last lap. And while we're waiting for these last couple drivers to come in here, we'll see what happened to Renner in the end here, trying to battle and get himself up there a little bit further, just a little bit too froggy on that throttle, and he tries to get spun back around, but then he sees the other cars coming by, and he does exactly what he should do. Locks it up. Once he has an opportunity, then he backs it up. He's going to lose quite a few positions on this, but that's exactly what you do here when you spin, and you see from right there, didn't cut to the inside. Gave the opportunity there to the 88, or not the 88. Trying to see who that was. Looks like maybe a lap car there, but either way, not how Renner wanted to finish. Rough start. Rough finish, kind of bookends it in a bad way, and I guess maybe some words to say to Barney there. Whatever. Well, I'm not sure what he has with Barney, but we'll talk to him at some point and find that out. But we got our top drivers here ready to get in there and take their interviews. We're going to start with our winner here tonight, and that's going to be the 24 of Nora Bourgeois. And Noah, I kind of said it maybe about 5-6 minutes into this race that congratulations on you winning the race, because you made it through lap number 1. So it was a foregone conclusion that the 24 was going to win. But man, I got to tell you, you put in some consistent lap after lap after lap, great times, and you were able to stretch out the lead in the first little stint. Mason was able to catch you a little bit on the pit stop, taking a little bit less fuel in the car, but I don't know if you had a save there at the end, or you seen him a little bit too close. You put the hammer down again and stretch this thing out to a 7-second win.
Yeah, first off, just I haven't been feeling the best past couple days, so I've tried to channel all of my positive energy into performing in this race. And I'm really glad that it paid off because I feel just a little bit better after that. As far as the pit stop goes, I was way too careful in the pit entry. And I seen Mason was like right behind me entering the pits, and I thought I screwed myself. But I saved enough fuel in the first stint because I was pretty comfortable that I was basically just full push in the second half, and I was able to run away with it. I was still trying to be a little careful to just not being too over assertive on the curbs or anything like that, because this Corvette is a little finicky if you try and push it way too hard. But it was pretty comfortable most of the way, so I was just trying to nurse that and maintain a good lead, and felt pretty damn good, I can't lie.
So it's kind of funny how like certain cars just end up being the metaphor for the track. I mean, we've seen last week with Daytona being the Porsche Cup race, and now here tonight it seemed like the Vette was definitely the car you wanted to be in.
Yeah, for sure. I was debating between the Vette or the Porsche. Ultimately, I just decided the Vette because I was able to push it as hard as the Porsche, but the tires weren't getting as hot as the Porsche. I found the Porsche, like second half of the stint, if you were pushing way too hard, it would just kill the fronts, and you were kind of just fighting it the whole time. So, and honestly, I love the Vette. If there's any excuse for me to run this car, I've chosen to run it because it's brought me good results, I believe, every single time I've driven it. So I don't know if it's a good luck charm of turn one madness or what it is, but yeah, it's just a fun car for me.
Well, listen, it's been a long time since lap one at Imola, and now this completes the first half of the season, and I would think you'll be sitting yourself at the top of the points. So regardless of how the first half started, you finished it on a high note and should be finishing with the points lead as well. So congrats on another win here tonight, a dominating performance. Wish you luck in the second half. But before we let you go here tonight, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Thank you very much. Huge shout out to CSRL, Jim, and all the admins. They do an amazing job running this. And as I've gotten to know everybody, I've seen how much work they put into this each and every week. So huge shout out to them. Shout out to you guys in the booth for putting on these awesome broadcasts every week. I love to go back and watch it, whether it's a win or a crash in turn one, because you guys just make it entertaining nonetheless. And as usual, shout out to my girlfriend, my dad, DSS, everybody. And yeah, this has been a blast each and every week.
Well, it's been fun watching you guys out there as well, too. Trust me. So, again, congrats on another win here tonight. We'll let you go celebrate, and we'll see you next week.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
That is your winner here tonight, the 24 of Norbourgeois, with a dominating performance. Top spot here in the gold class. Had to work for it there at the end, but it's going to go to the 4 of Frank Pisano.
Frank, it's Jimmy and Carl up in the booth. Cappy.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, welcome back to the booth, man. One heck of a race out there to get a finish in the top 10, and obviously that overall gold win here at a pretty difficult track. Give us a rundown on your race, man, because it seemed like there was a spin here, a spin there, and you got your way through.
Yeah, definitely had to dodge a few spun cars. Yeah, it was a fun race. I was chasing Caesar, kind of went back and forth a few times with him. And yeah, it was just a matter of kind of managing the tires. I was burning the front left off the car, making that final turn was just getting really, really difficult toward the end of the race.
Yeah, it's I mean, I've had I did that when this track became newer. There was like a 24-hour like iRacing special event here, and I remember how bad after a full tank of fuel was coming off that hill and off that kind of off camber run, because you could really get into it if you hit it just right. But towards the end of your tank, it was pretty bad. But yeah, definitely a lot of fun out there in them cars. You did a fantastic job, man. This is like I was telling everybody, it's difficult. The amount of chicanes, the amount of altitude changes, the ability to use a lot of track, but knowing where to use all the track, and then don't cut some of them in corners too much, because you might hit one of those big old curbs and then send you for a ride out in the kitty litter. But you got it done here tonight. You wrap it up with the first place there for the gold division. So we want to say congratulations, man, and give you some time for any shots you might have in at number 4.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, just a shout out to you guys for putting out a great broadcast every week. Shouts to the admins here at CSRL. always have a gas racing, and everybody who's racing in the league. It's just a great group of guys that I enjoy competing with every week. And also a shout out to Ace Motorsports and my teammates for helping me out with practices and pushing. We all push each other to get faster. So it's all good.
Definitely working for you all as you work your way to the front, especially getting these top 10. The competition is fierce up front here at CSRL, so we want to say congratulations and then let you go celebrate with your friends and family.
Okay, Jim. Take care. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Is your top spot finisher in the gold class and getting himself a top 10 as well, finishing 9th place, the 4 of Frank Bassano. Top spot in the silver class, and I think at this point we just got to make him his own seat up here. The 444 of Ian Southern coming in here. Ian, you're starting to get pretty comfy up here, getting these silver class wins. But tonight was not exactly easy. You had a battle with John and Spot, and maybe even rub a little bit of paint there towards the end.
That was good. That with John. I know John. I used to race with him, so that was fun.
So what was it about the Porsche here tonight? Because it seemed like it was pretty much the Vet or the Porsche is what you wanted to be in.
I'm just not very good at learning a new car, so I stick with it regardless.
There you go. I mean, it goes without saying you need to get used to a car, and sometimes you find yourself faster in that than hopping around from car to car. So it's working.
That's right.
It's certainly it's not bad so far. You got the 444 up here in the top spot here again in the silver.
Yeah, it was fun. I had a spin out there on turn 1 as well. That kind of shafted me, and then I battled back, so it was good. It made it interesting for sure.
Well, interesting is I think one way you can describe this track. I mean, what was going on, in the car there? I know that it's so tough with so many ups and downs and undulations through this track, and kind of feeling not just the weight shift, left to right through these corners, but almost kind of up and down as well, and losing some grip.
Yeah, you got to be definitely careful when you're applying your gas there. Get on it too fast, too soon, and like I did in turn 1, and all of a sudden you're a goner. So, just delicate inputs for me. Well, I struggled getting it to turn in tonight as well. I don't know what was going on with the front wheels.
Well, it certainly worked out in the end here, and maybe you used John to help you turn. Sometimes they say 8 wheels are easier to turn than 4. Well, either way.
No, he turned in on me. I didn't go out on him. No.
I mean, hey, listen. At the end of the day, you're the one talking to us, not him. So either way, what you say is gospel. So congrats on the win here again, and possibly taking over the points lead in the silver as well. So good first half of the season, and congrats again here tonight. Who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
I'll give a shout out for the team to keep me going there in Discord, and that's about it.
All right, buddy. Well, once again, congrats on the silver class win here tonight. We'll let you go celebrate, and we'll see you to start second half of the season.
Beauty. Have a good one, fellas.
You too, buddy.
Yes, sir. Bye.
Your winner here in the silver class, finishing in 21st overall, the 444 of Ian Southern. Last but not least is going to be our man that started back there in 20th, drove it all the way up into the top 10, finished in 7th place overall, up 13 spots. Tyler Torville and the 22.
Tyler, Jimmy Carl in the booth. You happy?
What's going on, fellas?
Oh, well, we get a good chance here to talk to you tonight for the best award of the night. Obviously, sandbagging. So, driving back through the field, we know how hard it is to, be all the way back there on purpose and then avoid all them wrecks to get yourself a great finish. But no, we're just kind of goofing. But definitely a tough drive there early on, but able to capitalize and move your way forward here tonight.
Yeah, I wasn't even actually trying to go for the sandbagger award. I mean, in last, I swear. Look at last season. Whenever I got it, I didn't even qualify. At least I qualified this time. I qualified 20th. I was midfield. I didn't think I was going to gain 13 positions and get to talk to you guys, but here we are.
Yeah, right spot at the right time for sure.
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, I didn't really have the best quality initially. I was either running into traffic or I'd get silly off tracks. My last lap that I was going to pull was going to be decent, but I just lifted. So here we are.
Well, we do. You get away with a great finish. You get a good night here to talk to us, and obviously win yourself that hard charge reward here / sandbagger, as we like to call it. But congratulations, man. We always just want to recognize when somebody's doing really well, and that's what you're doing here at CSRL. So either way, whether you had an okay starting bid pack, but you got to avoid all them wrecks, take advantage of it, and keep carrying on consistently. So get yourself a great finish here tonight. So congratulations, and get a little bit of time for you to get a shout out there from your car.
Yeah, and I had to talk to you guys again, especially the amount of crap I got last week for qualifying so well and then wrecking on lap 1. But yeah, so shout out to you guys. Thanks for everything you guys do. Everyone, all the boys over at Ace Motorsports, everyone here at CSRL. Shout out to Jim too. He gained 13 positions as well. So it was a good run by him. Me and him essentially tied for the most positions gained in this race, so props to him, and that's all I got.
Well, we appreciate the shouts, and again, congratulations. We'll let you go celebrate this one, friends and family.
All right, guys, thanks.
Yes, sir.
That is your Chris Burrell Hard Charger Sandbagger Award winner, 22 of Tyler Torville, and Jimmy. At the end of the day, they can't lie to us for too long. You heard it right there. He may not have wanted to, sandbag it mentally, but he knew he wanted to talk to us, and he knew it might be his only way to get up there, because these drivers up here in the Platinum are not just going to roll over and let Tyler Torville sneak in there with a win. So, man, the sandbag his way up into the podium, or into the booth with us. Either way, we get to talk to him. But I want to thank everyone out there again for tuning in tonight. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe. Get you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer. I want to thank our sponsors, Ace Motorsports for sponsoring the Pull Awards. Digital Sim Sports for sponsoring the Clean Driver Awards, even though there was none tonight. I want to thank 40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 sim racing shoes, custom engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, while still providing the comfort needed for those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products, including the original racing gloves for your feet. For Martin PC, they're focused on providing high-quality PCs, rigs, and components at affordable price. Your investment in sim racing is exactly the same as racing with an actual car. They take that same methodology at Martin. From the engine PC to the chassis rig, pedals, wheels, and shifter, you deserve components that match your desire to compete. That is going to do it for round number 4 for CSRL. Keep it tuned in here to CRN as we got the second half for our doubleheader with the Pit Road Speed Limit Racing Series. But for myself and Jimmy from Portimao, we'll see you at the track.
Peace.